It is a beautiful day for some DSA, and welcome back to the Cozy Club, my friends. My name is Cozy Gamer, and Hercules, the god of Olympus, is here and has landed to DSA. So I posted a video yesterday about me going through the event, and I plan on finding the best and easiest way to unlock Hercules, the cheapest way, and also just not having to max out all your tunes to complete the event. And now that I put in over 20 hours of testing, I feel like that's a good amount of information to give you guys my first thoughts and impressions. Now, in today's video, we're going to go through each and every character. I'm going to give my thoughts and how they kind of fit in their role on the Hercules team, and then they're a little bit different. We're going to be doing a full in-depth guide for each and every character, guys. These are very complex characters with a lot of kits, with a lot of different synergy and interactions between them, and it's gonna take some time to figure them out as a complete squad. Now, if you want to come and watch me test Hercules live, I've been streaming Wednesday all the way through Saturday, and I'll be streaming again a ton next week. We're gonna find out the best possible teams for Hercules, and if you saw my Twitter, we showed a little sneak preview of, I don't know, him hitting 37,000 AoEs with the Super Saiyan barley bombs that Hercules can do. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into today's video. Cozy Club. So before we get to the actual characters, let's talk about the team in its entirety. Now, a lot of people were perplexed because this is the first legendary event that did not come with a dedicated leadership ability. Now, I know that Bell had a kind of a wonky one that people didn't use, but at least it gave you something. And this is leaving a lot of people kind of without a leader for Hercules. And my friends, we're going to answer that question and then a lot other ones. But I'm going to go ahead and say, honestly, the first few hours of testing Hercules, you guys saw me live on stream, I wasn't blown away and impressed. But this kind of always happens with Elsa, with Baymax, with Beast. It takes time to kind of understand their kits all together. And this team doesn't necessarily jump off the page. But more importantly, unlike Beast and some other characters, this team needs a lot of rune resources to really get them working and kind of chugging as a machine as they should. So we're going to go ahead and jump into what makes the team great and also the characters great. But before we really get to that, guys, I don't think this is the end of Hercules. I think we're going to be having a lot of different kind of Hercules things coming, whether we don't have Zeus, and that's obviously a big missing component. Is Zeus going to bring the tank that the mythicals need? Is Zeus going to bring the leadership that Hercules and the team needs? We don't know, but that's probably going to be the case. But until then, what leaderships can you use for Hercules, and is he even worth going after? Now, with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump into each and every character. And again, they're going to have their own spotlights. And by the end of the video, I'll give you guys some great teams, cozy Hercules teams that I have been using, along with some other tips and tricks about them all together. But let's go ahead and talk about the mythical trainer, the trainer of the gods, the Billy Goat, Danny DeVito, Philly Cheesesteaks Phil. Phil is a mythical support character that's going to help his fellow mythicals and especially Hercules. So let's go ahead. Again, we're not going to really cover the entire kit as that's for the in-depth guide, but as general, this is kind of what Phil is going to do for the team as a whole. Phil is going to go ahead and help keep buffs on everybody. His passive is absolutely amazing to keep buffs on the teams like guaranteed crit, and most importantly, to keep the protects on Hercules so that he can get empowered as soon as possible. Now, people are kind of trying to figure out, just like Beast, how do you rush, like Elsa, how do you rush Hercules to his empowered god state? Well, Phil is going to help out a lot with that, and also he's going to help lower those cooldowns on Hercules. Now, Phil is also great for Hermes because he can give him haste, and he's really great at just altogether lowering cooldowns for the team around him. He can give great buffs that are on himself and also give speed turn meter and lower magic, but there is one thing that we'll get into more in depth later on. So there is one kind of interaction that I do want to point out, and that is going to be with Rule 96 aim. And if you read the kit here, it says, if target teammate is affected by crit chance up, remove it and replace it with one guaranteed crit. But the problem is, outside of Hermes, there's not people that are giving crit chance up really all that much. And so is Zeus going to do that? What exactly are we missing? So Phil is only going to get better, but he's definitely essential into making Herc hit like an absolute god that he is. So as for gearing in the entire team, Hercules is really the main offense character for his team. And so these other support characters that kind of help Hercules, they don't need to be geared out the charts because they're going to be kind of remaining heavy on their abilities. So that is good news for free to play altogether. But also, if you want to go ahead and see who do you want to take up the highest, Phil is nice to get geared up, but he's not absolutely essential. He's going to be a great character to throw a speed stone on and let him do his synergy with Hercules. Jumping on over and looking at the steed of Pegasus, he is absolutely the steed that the god needs. Pegasus is great for keeping Hercules alive throughout the battlefield by taking aggro off him with Protect, also healing him and mitigating damage. He's that off tank that does a little bit of more off tanking than someone like Papa Gantu per se, and altogether really great. Now, you can put a Hellstone on him, recovery, speed, offense for that extra damage. That's why I do like Pegasus, because there's so much involved with his kit. However, I don't recommend using Pegasus unless you've got his abilities and his mitigate all the way up, which again, on these in-depth guides, we're going to have an ability priority guide, which we'll go over soon. Altogether, though, Pegasus is a solid support that I'm excited to get my hands on a little bit more. Next up is Meg, kind of the bell to the beast, but Meg for Hercules. And here's the deal, guys. First of all, I had a huge crush on Meg as a kid. She was the princess that was never a princess that I always wanted, but I digress. Meg is something that I think is going to get better over time, kind of like the Fred with Big Hero 6. She really amps up Hercules, and if you plan on or you've already taken up Meg a lot, just amp up Hercules as fast as possible by giving him stuff like Bubbles Ticket and other buffs, because Meg is going to call Hercules pretty much with all of her abilities, and then Hercules is going to be assisting so much anyway, just regardless with shadows. So in general, Meg is going to be a great support for Hercules. I'm super excited to do the in-depth guide about her. She really has a lot of evasion naturally built into her kit and can give some great buffs to the god himself. So don't sleep on Meg, but again, we'll get to her way more with the in-depth guide. Now, Hermes, we already had a complete kind of guide about him, which you can check up above. Hermes is great to be able to spread buffs, but again, Phil and him work great together because of that haste and that natural synergy, and I do have some great teams that we'll talk about later involving Hermes, but I still feel like we might be missing something with Hermes altogether. I really like him. I don't know if you should bring him up all the way at this current moment, but I think he's definitely going to find his spot and could be that go-go, that missing puzzle piece that we find out a little bit later down either the calendar year or into the summer months or even way before that. But altogether, Hermes definitely has some use. All right, Cozy Club, I know why you came here, and that is for the god himself, Hercules, the man with the plan, going from zero to hero. Is he worth getting altogether, and does he live up to the legendary status? The answer is yes, yes, and yes. Hercules does so many things well. He's an offense juggernaut that can dish out crazy assists, crazy counterattacks, and just insane damage, as you guys can see right here with the Hercules Barley Bomb, which we'll also have a video out for this pretty shortly. But altogether, Hercules does so many different things, and he's kind of like a Beast meets Maui meets Elsa. He does all different kind of kits into one, and that is why he is so enjoyable to use. He can go ahead and protect his team by making people attack him, although he's kind of squishy, so you want to make sure you've got a lot of buffs on him to try to keep him alive. Running spells like Grandma Tala or Peter Pan Shadow is probably the best spells to run with Hercules to take the most advantage of his kit. Really, the name of the game with Hercules is to take him from zero all the way up to hero, and that is going to be by having the enemy hit other characters on your team and also have them hit Hercules with Protect on him. And so there's a lot of different ways to do this. You can do this whether by putting Taunt on him with Dr. Facilier or someone like Bo Peep, or you can go ahead and kind of just have them hit other team members, and naturally, depending on how many mythicals and other Hercules allies on the field, you're going to be building up to that empowered, that god state for Hercules. Now, unlike other offense characters, Hercules actually welcomes taunts and welcomes Protect on himself because he can mitigate so much damage. And they really stuck true to the movie, going from zero to hero, because beginning of the battle, Hercules is he's okay, and he has to use that zero to hero to get the buffs to kind of start the train rolling for empowered. But by the end of it, if Hercules is empowered and in his god form, you're done. You've got zero chance to win the battle. He's Super Saiyan. He's throwing spirit bombs or columns, and altogether, he's absolutely insane. Now, talking to you guys that aren't able to get Hercules. Now, I do want to say something. We've seen these legendary events come back a little bit faster this time around. And so if you don't get them, it's not going to be the end of the world, because right now, Again, we don't have a leadership behind him. Now, there are some teams I'm going to be suggesting today, but don't feel like you're missing out entirely by not getting Hercules. However, I don't know when the next supporting characters are going to come, and so you might miss out a little bit. But my friends, if you've got Ursula, Hades, or you just have a love for villains, I've got some great news for you and some characters to focus on farming first before going after the god in this event. Now, with all that being said, Hercules is absolutely worth investing in. He's an S-tier character. He can dominate the battlefield. People with Hercules are going to get more wins than people without Hercules, but there are plenty of ways to counter him right now before we found this kind of super team, which I'm making it my mission to find. That's why I've been testing for 20 hours straight within a 24-hour period. So altogether though, Hercules gets the AoE stun, massive damage, really great at empowered, has a nice purging effect, but Beast is a great counter to him as well. And so he's not going to be just lighting up every character, kind of like the Big Hero 6 team did when they came out. And then with that being said, Cozy Club, don't panic. We're going to find a great team for Hercules, and he does absolutely dominate under the right shoes and under the right circumstances. We just have to A, take up all the abilities around the characters that support him, and then B, we also just need to give it a little more time to find some great complementing teams that Hercules fits best in. Now, currently, Hercules Stone is kind of up in the air. I've been running an offense stone on him. Some people run a speed stone, but I find him with all of his assisting to really put that offense stone to get that extra godly punch from the guy. But it just depends, and you can also make a case for a defense or health stone, so you can't really go wrong. But again, my personal recommendation would be an offense stone or a speed stone, but with so many characters requiring a speed stone, offense is probably the way to go. Now, we're going to go ahead and jump into some great teams that I've found out with Hercules, and I know some of you guys are asking about Panic and Pain and Hades. We're going to definitely have a full in-depth guide for them. Probably the next one we're going to get out, we're going to probably have the Barley Bomb Hercules video coming out, and then the Panic and Pain in-depth guide. I'll be straight honest, Hercules, I love him. He's my favorite Disney character. However, Panic and Pain might be the winner of this patch, guys. They have an absolute, just probably one of the most fun kits within the game and can do so much. And they are the missing puzzle piece that A, Hades was missing, and B, the missing puzzle piece that villains were missing. So if you're looking for information on them, we will go ahead and get that full Panic and Pain, Pain and Panic, whatever way, potato, potato, in-depth guide out very shortly. The Hercules squad and just Hercules altogether is only going to get better the longer that he lives throughout the battlefield. The longer the battle is, the better that Hercules is going to become, which goes kind of naturally perfectly with a Miguel lead. Although I've been a little bit disappointed with Miguel lead, I do have a team I'll recommend with running with that. But altogether, Miguel kind of amps up the speed throughout the battlefield, and so it's nice to kind of keep things going. And I think that a mythical tank is really going to marry this whole package beautifully. So if you can keep Hercules alive, he's going to become an empowered Super Saiyan, and it's done. You're done. So looking at some great teams for Hercules, the first one on the list, you guys can see from these graphics, is going to be Hero Baymax, which I know you guys are just jumping up and down about seeing more Big Hero 6, but it is what it is, and auto taunt is so powerful. So Hero and Baymax are definitely the way to go. And then you've got Hermes, Phil, and Herc. So quickly, what you want to do to execute this team very nicely is to go ahead and give that hero upgrade over to Phil, and that's going to give him speed. And then you'll use Phil's first special to spread to both Hercules and Hermes, which will then give Hermes haste, allowing him to do all of his abilities. Use Hermes' first special, and then you've got the train rolling, and you're able to really get Herc powered up very quickly. Now, there are some other tanks that you can do here, but I do like Baymax, again, for that auto taunt and just to allow for more consistency. I'll jump into more of these teams on my Twitch channel and also on maybe a later video, but that's the gist for this first team. Now, the next team we're going to talk about is Hero, Baymax, Maurice, Phil, and Herc. Now, really the name of the game with this one, guys, is going to be to go ahead and have Maurice serve as that constant upgrade to Hercules. He can also give a double crit to the god, and then Phil is going to be doing some great things, amping up Hercules as well. And it's really hard to stop this train from going and to go ahead and have Herc go Super Saiyan very fast. So do like that team to kind of get Herc going as fast as possible. Naturally, the best team that's out there right now is going to be Hercules, Bell, Beast, Hero, and Baymax. You've got the double tank, triple tank, kind of, with Hercules in the front. And then they're going to have both people going on both of the tanks, allowing Hercules to get Protect up and then get Heroism, building up those stacks to Empowered. And then, of course, you've got Bell being insane, calling Hercules to assist, as well as Beast It's probably the new like super silence team that everyone's going to be running, but there probably are better teams out there, and that is my mission to find them, as I just don't want to use the same characters that we've been using prior to this meta. Now, another great team to use is Miguel plus a tank, and then you can do Hercules, Phil, and Pegasus, and this is a great team to have Hercules always get this empowered and very quickly get his abilities while also protecting him and protecting Miguel, allowing that leadership ability to work very naturally and well. Definitely like this. I've seen this and I've been against this team, and it can absolute slap once you've got the abilities going. So definitely like the use with Pegasus, and there's plenty of Meg teams to use as well, but currently we're still kind of finding out Meg's best spot. And again, if you want to use all these characters right now outside that Miguel lead, which doesn't work all the time with all of them, it's just not really making sense. And so if you want to leave one character out at the moment, I would say probably Hermes, but all of them would be great to kind of level up naturally altogether. And these are some great starter teams to get you going. Or if you're free to play and you went all in on Hercules and you have some other, older characters, the Barley Hercules Super Saiyan Bomb is a video you want to look out for. And once I have it, I'll put it in the description below, because that team can nuke just about anything. All right, Cozy Club, so there's my first impressions. A little bit of a letdown as far as all the hype for Hercules, but that's because we didn't get that leadership ability. But what I'm saying is, just be patient. We're going to get the abilities, we're going to get the leadership up, and he's going to be slapping and throwing people and being the god that he is. Now, altogether, can you miss this event? If you've got no other mythicals, if you don't have Miguel, if you're far off altogether, then yes, you can. If you don't think Hercules is good, well, you're sadly mistaken. Hercules is insane. So altogether, it's kind of up to you, and I just don't know when this is going to come back around. But I do expect more kind of mythical reworks and more mythical things to happen, as the devs a little bit teased in the Q&A that we had. So altogether, should you get him, I'm going to say Hercules is a no-brainer for those that can go ahead and afford him. But if you don't want to stretch and go after him, just wait and go after Pain and Panic, and I'll go ahead and break that down in my in-depth guide video altogether. But my friends, keep in mind, this is my first impressions. I was way wrong about Big Hero 6 on my first impressions for them, and they naturally got a lot better. Fred, we didn't even find really his viability till months later. So I've got plenty of hope for these guys altogether. My friends, if you want to help support the channel a bunch, go ahead and like today's video. Comment down below what are some of the favorite teams that you have seen, or just your opinions on Hercules in general. And until next time, Cozy Club, stay cozy.